Hello, good evening. My name is Elias Munsha. I am coming to you live from Calgary, Alberta in Canada. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope we are going to have a great time with discussions today. And the things that we always normally do, I'm just going to emphasize here that if you are watching us from Facebook, please be able to like our page, to follow. Now, I think Facebook pages has now changed what it's doing. Instead of liking, it's now following. So follow us. And then you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, of course, just like last week, it appears like the changes that Facebook has done means that I may not be able to come live. So I'm trying to see whether this can work. Yeah, but this does not seem to work. I will try to go to the Munsha Law broadcast and then try to share it from there. So this is one of the challenges with technology. Sometimes it works perfectly, and then at other times it doesn't work as perfectly. But anyway, let's see how it goes. At Munsha Law Facebook page, and then I'm going to share it onto my Elias Munsha page. Let's see how it goes. There we go. All right, so Elias Munsha page has got it. So if you are able to follow us there, I think that will be good. I'm still trying to share it again here. Please share as much as possible as well, so that we can have as many people in it. Okay. Well, it appears like this is all we have to live with for the moment. I'll try and resolve the issue of my Facebook page, because that is really the main thing, right? Because why would I not be able to go live on my Facebook page? This is pretty unfair. But we understand my Facebook page, because that is really the main. Yeah, we understand that should not be the case. Yeah, so what it is doing is it's broadcasting to my Facebook page, but it's not broadcasting. It's only visible to me. It's not visible to 128,000 followers that we have there. Okay, and so we are going to deprive our friends for a bit of this for now. Okay, we can get started at least for now. As you can see, these are changes. You see, that's a problem with technology. Things change, and then it throws the entire plan into confusion. Alternatively, though, what I can do is to try and go live directly. That's what I did the last time. So there we go. I will go live directly. Yes, I think where there is a will, there is a way. So I am going to go live. There we go. Yeah, so we are going to do two things at once. We're going to go live on my Facebook page, and then we are also going to be live here. So let's see how that works. Okay. Thank you again for joining me. My name is Elias Munsha, and so you're going to see that I'll be looking at two screens. When I look at two screens, please don't mind me. Okay. Yesterday I did make a post that some people thought was quite insensitive regarding COVID-19 vaccines. I did a post there, and as a matter of fact, it was apparently also copied by the Ministry of Health, Zambia's Ministry of Health, and they published it on their Facebook page as well. Except that when they published it, they, instead of acknowledging who the author is, they just use the initials, which are EM. Now, I found that strange, quite all right. It was very strange that they could use the initials instead of just the full name, but I do understand. The concern there is we love our country, and so it's very concerning when a government page or a government website shares my thoughts, but they've got to censor themselves when they share my thoughts that are aimed at trying to help our people. We need to be very clear that we love our country, we love Zambia, and the fact that we appear to be critics of the present government does not mean then that we cannot collaborate with government institutions to spread good messages that are going to help our people. And I believe that the messages about vaccines and COVID-19 is such message. And so it is very concerning when I saw that the Ministry of Health decided to censor themselves and to censor my name out of the posting and just say it comes from EM. But our commitment to our country remains undefeated, and very strongly so, for the sake of the future of our nation. We contribute towards our country. And even if we have disagreements with the ruling party, we still believe that our country still has a government. And so there is no need for us to be censored or even to censor ourselves. And so that was quite strange. The reason why I spoke about COVID-19 vaccines was because of what I noticed to be a lot of misinformation. A lot of misinformation that is coming from conspiracy theories. And so I decided to make that post because truly there is a lot of misinformation, and misinformation is dangerous. In our time now, misinformation can be as lethal as bullets, actually. And so we cannot tolerate the situation where some people are spreading misinformation about vaccines and about COVID-19, and we just say it's okay. They can spread whatever they want to spread. And in my posting, I had mentioned that for those that are tying vaccines to 666 or mark of the beast, what I was trying to say is just that today I'm wearing a very long-sleeved shirt, and so I can't show you that all of us that are in my age group, I think even younger ones, we have marks for vaccines, which were given to us when we were babies. I have one here and I have another one here. We have marks. These are vaccination marks. And in fact, that vaccine must make a mark on your body. The reason why it must show a mark on your body is to help our health care personnel to be able to identify who in the population has received the vaccine and who hasn't. And so it's very unfair to begin thinking that somehow these marks that we received on our bodies are somehow associated with the devil. No, they are not associated with the devil at all. They are marks that help our public health nurses, public health doctors, public health professionals to be able to tell whether we received the vaccine for tetanus, BCG, polio, and whooping cough, things that were extremely dangerous to our population. And without these vaccines and smallpox, without these vaccines, we would be sick. And in fact, we would have died as infants. There was a worldwide drive in the 40s and in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even currently, to make these vaccines widespread across our world. And that's why we have received them, okay? Now, what is going to be different about any of the modern vaccines that are being developed? Nothing. If they cannot make any of these marks on our bodies, they're calling it some digital. There's got to be a way to identify who has received the vaccine and who hasn't. Just like it has always been as far as polio, as far as tetanus, as far as BCG vaccines have been concerned. There has always been a way to try and identify which among the population have received these vaccines. Because when you've got this vaccine, then healthcare professionals will be able to tell, to say, okay, what is the problem with this person? Why are they sick? Why do they have smallpox? And yet they received the vaccine, and then they investigate further. It is very helpful. This rampant idea that that we in Africa survive only by the grace of God is nonsense. God has used a lot of our doctors and scientists in order to help our people, to help Africa. This idea that somehow science is outside the will and the realm of God is not biblical. You know, this idea that somehow doctors are not in the will of God. They are in the will of God. They are part of the plan of God to keep us healthy. Food, public health, nurses, scientists, pharmacists, chemists, all these people, they are used by God in order to help build our population. They are not agents of the devil. They are not tools of Satan. No, they are not. That's why some people, you get healed, quite all right. You go to a hospital, you get healed. Instead of being thankful to the healthcare professionals that are helping you, you are busy saying, oh, I'm very grateful to God. Be grateful to the doctors that God has used, because they too are being used by God to help bring healing to our country. We cannot just say, no, we just survive by the grace of God. How does the grace of God become embodied in our day-to-day lives? The grace of God is shown through the sacrifice and hard work of healthcare professionals. They are part of God's plan. Okay? So the scientists that are working on the vaccine, they're doing God's work. They're trying to help our people, to save our people. That is what we must do. This COVID-19 vaccine was developed by some Africans. Even a Zambian, in fact, he was even on was it CNN or BBC, a Zambian in America who works for Pfizer. He was one of the people that were working on this vaccine, studying the nature of this virus and trying to find a way of helping our people. Now, how can we then suddenly say that all these vaccines are coming from the devil? You see, I would be failing in my duties if I don't address that and condemn it completely. That it is not, that kind of language, it does not belong to the Bible. It is not godly. We're using all these scientists to be agents of Satan. They are agents of God. They are servants of God. They are serving because they felt the call to serve in medicine and in science and to help us as our to help us. There are several ways that have been that have helped our people throughout history, even in Africa. Now, colonialism and racism has been extremely sad story, okay? And I don't want you to think that when I talk about this, then I'm saying that no, slavery and racism was good. It was never good. But not everything is slavery and not everything is racism. It is true that some time ago, due to the bad history of racism, particularly in the United States, some medical doctors started experimenting on Black people as far as syphilis was concerned. That was extremely evil, and we cannot tolerate that kind of situation to happen again. But that was then. But in order for you to say that everything that used to happen now is what is happening with the vaccines, no, I wouldn't agree with that. That's not the same thing. The fact that an injustice happened once does not mean that even when some of these vaccines are being developed, then it is the same thing. We can look and appreciate and condemn the events of the syphilis saga and the way medicine has been used as a tool of colonialism, without necessarily using that as the reason why we suddenly are going to distrust several medical breakthroughs that have been done to help our people. We are where we are now, particularly in Zambia, because of the sacrifices of the people. Of course, I talked about antiretroviral therapy drugs. This is what I say. Some of our people have bought into this lie and this conspiracy theory that somehow Bill Gates wants to kill all Africans, depopulate Africa, and something like that. And my contribution was, no. If that were the truth, if Bill Gates wanted to depopulate Africa, he would have started with refusing to fund ARVs. And so I use the ARV language not as a way to try and look down upon all of our people that are on ARVs. I may be on ARVs, who knows? My close friends, my close relatives may be on ARVs. ARVs are part of us. It is medication that is helping our people. There is no need to stigmatize it. It's medication. It's been developed over the years, and today Zambia has a very healthy trajectory in terms of life expectancy, partly because of these ARVs that are helping keep our people healthy and safe. Even the transmission of HIV/AIDS has been controlled partly because of these ARVs that are suppressing the ability of the virus to be passed from one person to another. Bill Gates does fund programs which help our mothers from passing on the virus to their children, to their babies. That's why an HIV positive woman now can go ahead and have a baby without passing on the virus to that child. It is partly due to the funding that comes from people like Bill Gates and several other multilateral institutions. But for us to buy into this lie, into this conspiracy theory that Bill Gates is going to use the COVID-19 vaccine in order to depopulate Africa does not make sense. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. This idea that we as Africans, that's why I am a post-Africanist. As a post-Africanist, we are beginning to look at the African story slightly different. The idea that this incessant obsession with victimhood does not help our people. This idea that science is somehow only for whites is nonsense. Science is for the entire world. We become part of the scientific story. African children must be encouraged to break through the science world. We are supposed to be doing all these things in Africa, collaborating with other people around the world to see answers to the problems that we have. It is not time for us to begin pointing fingers at others and saying that science only works for the whites or science is only working for these others. If the black race is to redeem itself from the confusion of colonialism and the unfairness and the atrocities of slavery, we must begin rethinking our own story. And by rethinking, it is this idea that science is a science. Quite all right, you can decolonize it. And I would encourage everyone to decolonize science. But at the end of the day, science is science. We need to grow our scientists. We need to encourage them. We need to speak a blessing over them. We need to fund them. That's what we need to be doing. Not condemning them and making them feel like they are second-class citizens. They're second-class African, giving them an impression as if we can do just fine without them. No, we can't do just fine without them. The world is where we are today. Zambia is where it is today because of the hard work of the scientists and healthcare professionals. Maybe that's why we pay nurses peanuts and we can't even think twice about it. Nurses and doctors, pay them peanuts, give them no jobs, because we think that somehow it's okay as long as tuafutikila, it's enough. It's not enough. Ukufutikila is a very, very wonderful and powerful health exercise, but it cannot take over scientific solutions that have been working for us, keeping us healthy and safe. Ukufutikila is not a replacement for antibiotics. No. Okufutikila is not a solution it's not a replacement for vaccines. No. Okufutikila is not a solution for antibiotics. If somebody has akaswende nangwa akasede, okufutikila is not a solution. It won't help you. You know what I mean? You need an antibiotic to get healed. So why should we then begin condemning people that are taking medication. That is the spirit from which I was talking about. Science is science. Let us, in fact, some people say that science started from Africa. Yes, that is the kind of language we need. Let's look at some of the developing countries like China. What has made China different? What has made the Chinese to break out of that mode of poverty and begin leading the world? What happened? It is this belief, this idea, this hard work, this concentration on things that are going to help your people instead of concentrating things that are going to destroy your people and draw them back. Being backwards is not a positive trait. We just need to be clear about it. This idea that, no, we've got to go back to the way our ancestors used to live. No, I'm sorry. We are not going to do that. Because we are developing, we are changing, we are living in a different world, different diseases. And science is helping us, and it has helped us. And that's why we need to fund science. Our university must fund science. Instead of spending money on things like, imagine, so currently the PF government found it appropriate to fund what it's calling youth empowerment. Youth empowerment. The funding is there. Why haven't we even funded a scientific laboratory at the University of Zambia? The last time we heard about this COVID was something was coming up and it died a natural death. There is no funding in science. We are not investing enough in technology, in scientific discovery in Africa. And that is sad. Until we begin investing in those particular situations, we are always going to be lagging behind and pointing fingers at others as if they are the source of the misery. How come there is money for youth empowerment and musicians and everything else? Don't get me wrong. I'm musical myself. I'm musical. I like music. You know what I mean? Like Big Chala's music. I like music. And pensulo, you know, I think a pensulo, na paper, you know. Great music. And Chandana K. Now there is 4 na 5. And they are always, music is definitely important. And we would like to encourage this government to continue promoting the arts. But so is science. So is the investment in science. Take the money, invest it in science. Instead of just investing money in beautiful planes that are going to be taking Lungu from Lusaka to Petaoke, or Lungu from Lusaka to Milenge, or Lungu from Lusaka to Kasama, where is he now? In Isoka. Why can't we take some of that money and invest it in the University of Zambia to have our own scientists? And so I have no kind words for people that are spreading conspiracy theories. And it's a very big industry, the conspiracy theory industry. They say, oh, no, by research they mean for all this confusion. No. Don't spread conspiracy theories. It's as simple as that. A lot of our people are sacrificing daily. Nurses and doctors sacrificing daily in hospitals, underfunded hospitals, treating people with COVID patients. And today, some of our people are still thinking that COVID is just a hoax. It is nothing, it's just like a flu. It's not. I wish there was something much more important that we'll be talking about today. I feel extremely sad that we have got to be clarifying an issue that is already extremely clear. You know? Now, somebody saying that get advice from a doctor. Now, this is another problem that we have in Zambia. This idea that a person cannot talk about issues of interest. as long as they're not a doctor or a lawyer. Common sense. Medicine is common sense, and so is law. Everything. We live life under the common sense presumption. Okay, you do not have to be a medical doctor for you to stand up and say that I received this vaccine and I have a mark of the vaccine. I don't need to be a medical doctor. As a matter of fact, the people that are spreading conspiracy theories themselves are not doctors. It's just somebody with a YouTube channel, and they begin lies and confusion, deceiving our people. All the doctors that I've seen, even in our country in Zambia, they are urging caution. This is what they are saying. This is a disease, it is a virus, and a vaccine is ready. And as soon as we get the vaccine, of course, it shouldn't be supplied by honeybee. Again, the issue with honeybee has got nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with thieves that are stealing. So which scientists are you people consulting that are going into conspiracies? They're not scientists. People with YouTube channels that are spewing lies about COVID-19 are the ones you are calling scientists? No. It's just that I would have shown you the mark of the beast. You are calling the mark of the beast. Now let's talk about eschatology. Eschatology is a branch of theology that talks about the end times. I'm Pentecostal myself, so in Pentecostalism and the evangelical tradition, we have what we call eschatology, which is the study of the end times. The problem is that once you take eschatology to extremes, you begin teaching heresy. You see that? And that is the problem. You begin teaching heresy when you take eschatology to huge lengths. You begin seeing everything that is happening in the world as a sign of the. This is why growing up as a Pentecostal back in the 90s, as a young boy, what were we saying was the beast? It was Bill Clinton. First it was Ronald Reagan, then it was Bill Clinton. Then after Bill Clinton, it was George W. Bush. And after George W. Bush, it was Barack Obama. And there are some people who believe that Barack Obama is a mark of the beast. A theology that is centered on American politics. That is the eschatology. And people go into great lengths trying to explain these countries and everything else. And now the easiest target is now this COVID-19 and 5G. They are now preaching that 5G and COVID-19, they are the things that are going to usher the end time. Okay, if indeed these things are going to usher the end time, what control do you have? You have no control. From the biblical perspective, Jesus is going to come, and is going to come at any time. So then why is it necessary to understand anything? For what? We are supposed to occupy until he comes. Do what you have to do. These things of trying to go into all these exposés, trying to find who the Antichrist is, it's it will just land you into serious problems with heresy. And what is happening currently right now is a heretic, because it is not a theology that is helping our people. It is a theology that is leading to fear, particularly we Pentecostals. We are a faith of fear, a lot of fear. And we justify it by saying it's because it's in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world. It's true, the spiritual world exists, but much of the fear that we have is completely unfounded. It's not even biblical. It's not biblical fear. How can you be living in such fear? Fear of the devil, fear of the unknown, fear of demons. No, there is a demon. I grew up believing, for example, that the new computers are demons. I think so. New computers have demons, eh? And some were believing Facebook. I think the only thing that has demons is Facebook. I believe Facebook. There are demons in Facebook. So everything is demonic. Everything that we don't understand is demonic. Television was demonic. Television was of the devil. Until now, we are using it. Internet was of the devil until now we are using it. Even 5G, it is of the devil until they begin using it for to spread the gospel of Jesus. Satellites were demonic until TBN used it to reach the entire world with a prosperity gospel, right? So no, I think what is needed is a balance. I'm appealing particularly to Pentecostals. Just balance, bring balance. If you are teaching about the end times, just teach what the Bible says. Don't begin bringing in things that are not making sense, things that are inspired by fear rather than faith. No, don't do that. Okay. I think that's where we need to look at. Don't make people fear things. You know, let people depend on God and enjoy the presence of God. That's what it is. Okay. Please talk low. Some topics need years at school. Kangulu Kalaluka. Like which one? Like vaccines? I had to be educated to be given vaccines. Is that what you are saying? You people that are spreading conspiracy theories, you in fact lack very basic understanding of science. Simple. Science is science. You people lack basic understanding of it. And then you are saying that it is me that has a problem. It is you that are spreading conspiracies. Which legitimate scientists, even in Zambia, a legitimate scientist in Zambia is spreading conspiracy theories? You tell me. Go to the doctors. Go and ask them. They are there. Even Facebook doctors like Dr. Mjajati, you read what he has said. Great Facebook doctors. Go and hear what they are saying. They're not agreeing with all these conspiracies, because that's what they are. They're conspiracy theories. For goodness sake. Lawrence Amumbwe, you made a mistake using the term ARVs. Why did I make a mistake? ARVs are medication that we are using. Our people has, in fact, our life expectancy has improved due to ARVs. ARVs are not something to be ashamed about. It's medication. Our people are using it. They are living today because of ARVs. Why shouldn't we talk about it? All I was saying was that if Bill Gates wanted to kill our people, he would have just stopped funding ARVs. That's all. And how were ARVs discovered? It was by scientists working extremely hard, being used by God, by the Spirit of God, to discover ARVs to help our people in Zambia. And now you're saying that I shouldn't use this term. Why? HIV and AIDS is a disease, just like any other. No need for stigma. Absolutely no need for stigma. So once the vaccine is ready in Zambia, here in Canada, they are trying to prioritize older people and doctors and nurses, all those in healthcare. They are a priority at the moment. And a person like me is not a priority. So once my turn comes, I will take it. The only caution in Zambia is if it's supplied by honeybee. I wouldn't. As long as it is supplied by honeybee, I wouldn't. Again, that is not a scientific issue. It is a theft issue because honeybee decided to steal money and supply defective condoms and rotten Panadol. So I have no faith that honeybee is going to supply legit things to me. No. So as long as there is no honeybee, I'm going to take it. Why wouldn't I take it? Does the vaccine go inside and change the DNA? No, there is nothing on the outside that can go in and change DNA. DNA is natural. DNA, there is nothing you can introduce in the bloodstream that can change a human being's DNA. Simple common sense. You people that are saying that, no, I should leave this to law. It does not take a legal degree or a medical degree to know that there is nothing you can introduce externally that can go and change a person's DNA. No. Even if you were to put it inside somebody's bloodstream, it can't, because DNA is natural. It is when you are being born, that's when the DNA gets wired in you. So this idea that somehow this vaccine, once it enters, it will change your DNA is actually not true, you know? Now, I'm a preacher. I shouldn't be using these words, but what is nonsense is nonsense. You know? Hey, it's nonsense. So what should we say? No, it's not nonsense. It's nonsense. How can a vaccine change your DNA, for goodness sake? Any comments, our people? Anyway, so can we move over from the vaccine things? We've already done 36 minutes on vaccines, so let it be. I do understand that Dr. Nevas Mumba wants the vaccines to be tested in Zambia. Of course, if you want to have vaccines tested in Zambia, I'm all for it. Please do. Okay. If somebody says they want to test vaccines in Zambia, it's okay. Go ahead and do it, you know, and verify it by our own scientists, the very scientists that we keep condemning all the time, the very scientists that we are not willing to listen to, the very scientists that we underfund, you know, directing money to 300,000 kwacha directed to one person at the empowerment fund, youth empowerment fund. Meanwhile, our nurses that are working in COVID wards today, no allowances. No allowances for nurses. Suddenly, there is no money to pay nurses that are working with COVID patients today, risking their lives. And then you give them gloves that are defective, that are going to, you know, you are killing the nurses. You are killing healthcare personnel. What do you think? So I'm going to be doing some posts about post-Africanism. This is a reimagination of the African myth. Reimagination of the African myth. That is what we need. To learn best practices from others. How have they managed? Because Pan-Africanism always looks at the victim mentality. It does not help to spur a new imagination. What are the most important principles for the African? Why is the rule of law important? Why should we fight corruption? You know, all these. These are very, very important issues that we need to be dealing with. To begin inspiring a new philosophy, a new way of thinking for the Africans. Learning from others. How did the Chinese corruption? Of course, the Chinese Communist Party is pretty corrupt, but at least they fought corruption. Number one. Zero tolerance towards corruption. That is the first thing that we need to do. Very important. The other thing is you tighten your things that you have. This idea that we are going to be blaming others, we need to get rid of that. We tighten things in our country. For example, from the time you produce copper, it is your own country. You produce copper and you have no idea where that copper goes. And you blame others? As a post-Africanist, we take personal responsibility. We are aware of the implications of past racism and colonialism, but we take personal responsibility, first of all, to say that was then, but now we've got to begin inspiring some changes. That is how China did it. China wasn't there blaming and insulting Westerners. What did China do? It said, you Westerners, if you want to come in our country, these are the laws that you're going to be subject to. You can create your industries, and then there will be exchange of expertise and training, transfer. It's known as knowledge transfer. If you establish a factory here, there's got to be knowledge transfer to the Chinese. That is why they are where they are. But look who we insult, first of all. That is not the way to do. We need a new change. Post-Africanism, that is what I call it. A post-Africanist view of the African. It's very different. And sometimes we get accused of a lot of things as post-Africanists. But in our passion as a post-Africanist is this idea that the African is the most important person. Very, very important. How can this African begin imagining a new Africa? A new way of doing things, a new way of looking at things. That is very important. Somebody is saying Nyotam 23 died, 13 were linked to the vaccine. Of course, yes. And it was the people in, was it Sweden or Norway? Older, extremely older, frail people, okay? So they're saying that the vaccine is in fact not good, may not be good for extremely frail people. All the people that died were 80 years and above. Okay? And that is the nature of science. Okay? So now they know extremely frail individuals should not take the vaccine. Simple. You move on. Otherwise, to the millions of doses that have been administered so far, there's been no issues, no problems. Okay? Yeah. In Norway, yeah. So now, because you're saying that because it happened in Norway, therefore we shouldn't consume this vaccine on the basis of the death of 80-year-olds, frail individuals. No. Okay. I think we will have no time today to talk about the Highgate scandal, but suffice to mention here that the Ministry of Finance in Zambia has hired Highgate Advisory Ltd to be more like a Shibukombe, to speak on our behalf as Zambians to the people that we borrowed. And they've paid them they're going to pay them £333,000 to help them become Bashibukombe. Except that this company was only incorporated in 2020. And yet the statement that the Ministry of Finance did put out appeared as if this company has been around for a very long time and it has helped a lot of people, which is quite interesting. However, there is another company with a similar name that was incorporated in about 2006, and then it was closed in 2012. So we are not sure whether the Ministry of Finance was referring to that old company or to this new one. In any case, it is just showing you how disorganized the Ministry of Finance is. If there was any way to deal with these matters, it's simple. The biggest way to communicate that you are serious as a government as far as servicing your debt, your Kaloba is concerned, is don't borrow, don't steal, tighten the things, and control where you're spending money. That's why when we say that there was no need to buy a luxury jet for the president, what we were really talking about was that if you are a poor country who is heavily indebted, control what you are spending money on. You cannot be spending millions of dollars on a jet when you are a poor, impoverished country. It's simple. And then you want to cover that by using a certain cosmetic organization that is going to speak on your behalf. No. No. That is not going to work. No matter how efficient that particular company is, you're just wasting money. That 300,000 better be invested at UNZA to fund scientists in order for them to come up with some studies on COVID-19. That's a better investment than trying to invest money to have somebody to speak on our behalf when our government is doing something else. It lacks discipline. This Patriotic Front government, zero discipline. Because the people that we borrow money from, they watch. They look at, you have 17 million, you buy defective condoms for your people and rotten Panadols. They know that you are a government that lacks discipline. You can't keep blaming the whites for that. You can't keep blaming the white imperialists for that. Gentlemen, you are the ones who use $17 million contract to buy defective condoms. So when the people for Kaloba come and see that you as a country, that is how you are doing it, they're not going to be happy, no matter which company you hire. What is the solution? Discipline. Very important. Stop being corrupt. Look at where you are spending the money. Because you don't have that money, so why should you go borrow more money to spend on a presidential jet? It's not one or two, it's several jets. And these jets are not just going to take the president, it will also take the president and all of his friends and cadres. That is what it is all about. So when we are asking for change in our country, we are not just trying to be malicious or anything like that. We are demanding something better, that Zambia can do better. That's what we are talking about. Gregory Mwanza, download the book entitled Plague of Corruption by Dr. Judy, Amazon. Then we can come and discuss subject related to RNA and DNA. No, I'm not going. What book is it? It's a conspiracy book. I don't read conspiracy books. No, I don't read conspiracy theories. It's not even an alternative. Yeah, it's not even an alternative for me. I don't consider conspiracy theories to be alternative reality. Like the way you have theories and then this is an important theory. No, I have no time to listen to conspiracy theories. If it's something that is well established, it's academic, yes, I'm going to listen to it, but I'm not going to listen to liars that are coming up with all these false ideas that a vaccine can change one's DNA. No, I'm not. Or somehow that a vaccine is something spiritual and it enters your body and it confuses your spirituality. That's nonsense. I'm not going to read it. For what? You know, I'll read books, I'll do that, but I'm not going to take myself to go and read all these conspiracies. Sorry. Yeah. Butane yena mwali teka bwino. No, it's not just about butane. Yoko yena mwandai. Yeah. Henry Yamba, think of it this way. Can a doctor represent a lawyer in court or expect a lawyer to treat a doctor in a hospital? Come on, what type of reasoning is this? There is reason why we spend all these years in school. a little bit of knowledge on a subject matter is more dangerous than ignorance. I don't know what that has got to do with conspiracy theories that are being spread, saying that a vaccine can change somebody's DNA. You know what I mean? Can a vaccine change somebody's DNA? No, it can't. What is the scientific community in Zambia saying about vaccines? They're encouraging our country, in fact, they're encouraging our government to procure these vaccines as soon as possible. What are the doctors saying? They're saying the same thing. So whom am I going to believe between the doctors in Zambia and some YouTube person who is saying that vaccines are spiritually dangerous? I'm going to listen to that person on YouTube? No, I'm sorry. They appear extremely smart, but they are not. They're spreading lies and conspiracy theories. That 5G is somehow connected to COVID-19. Where is the connection, for goodness sake? No. So this idea that somehow there is no consensus among scientists regarding COVID-19, there is consensus among scientists from all over the world. Chinese scientists, European scientists, African scientists, American scientists, they all have consensus about COVID-19. It's only in the sake of conspiracy theories where there is no consensus. And that's because they are liars. I have no time for conspiracy theories. How many are following this? Kangulu Kalaluka. I have issues with my Facebook page. In integrating the Facebook page with my I use StreamYard. So Facebook page made some changes, and so I'm having difficulties in broadcasting. So on StreamYard we are 128 people. On the Facebook page we are 256 at the moment. I don't know whether that helps. So that's about 400 people listening at any given time. Some are going off and on and everything like that. What happened to the Madagascar formula? Mbuya, Madagascar formula, yeah. It wasn't a cure. It wasn't a formula. It was just something that people hyped up and said that it was a cure. It wasn't. Ben Mutale, mRNA cannot change DNA. It's elementary biology. Thank you, Ben Mutale. Much appreciated. That there is somebody who is saying that there is a book I needed to read that says that mRNA can change DNA. Imagine. Somebody has even written a book, apparently, and it's being consumed. The danger with conspiracy theories is that you start very innocently, but once you go deep into it, it's like a rabbit hole. You go in, you keep discovering lies and believing them, quite fiachin. And they're even making sense. You even begin going to dedicated YouTube channels to go and listen to lies, you know. And people complain that my YouTube presentations are too long, and yet you go and listen to these conspiracy theories and you consume their information hours and hours, and then you begin spreading this lie upon our people that there is somebody who has a depopulation agenda, things that are sounding very, very nice, but they are all just useless doctrines. Depopulation agenda, what and what? Which depopulation agenda? Okay, to at the very least, even ZNBC would report people are dying from vaccine. Let's follow CNN, BBC on Facebook if you can't watch on TV. Millions are dying. That's not true. It's not true that millions are dying of the vaccine. Come on. Yeah. The only big number of deaths that came was from Norway when they tried to vaccinate pretty frail 80-year-olds in Norway. That's where they're saying that they had a problem. And so there is a new guidance that when you are trying to administer this vaccine, be careful when you are vaccinating very frail 80-year-olds. On Uganda, no, I'll comment on Uganda another time. There is a lot that we need to talk about in Uganda. Yeah. And not all doctors have consensus. When I say that doctors have consensus, it does not mean that it's the consensus of the community. What is the consensus of the scientific community or the medical community? That is what we are talking about. We're not talking about one doctor who gets out of line. They'll always be there. You understand that? So when I say that doctors have consensus, what I'm saying is the medical community. What is the medical community saying about this particular thing? That's what I mean by consensus. Of course, there was those fake gentlemen in America who stood up and said that hydroxychloroquine is the cure. And they said they have found the cure for COVID. Oh, they were liars. They were liars. So when I say consensus, what I mean is, what is the consensus of our medical community in Zambia and the scientific community? What are they saying about COVID-19? What are they saying about COVID-19 vaccinations? What are they saying about what we need to do to, Rose Limbrick says that she took the first one on 31st, and then she's taking the second one tomorrow or on the 21st. Good luck with that. And so from that, it gives me an indication that you belong to a community that really needs this, maybe medical nursing community. Yeah. So we like you. We love you, people in the medical field. You do a lot for us. And so when all these conspiracy theories are coming up and saying all these lies, it's our duty to rebut them and tell them what they're saying is not helping our people. It's nonsense. And I have no patience for Zambians who are spreading those lies. Let us know when you take the vaccine. I'll let you know. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me today. Again, I'm Elias Monshan. Thank you so much for our discussion today on COVID-19. I hope we're going to correct whatever is going on with our technology. And the reason why we go live is because it's easier for me than doing a thing and then editing it and blah, blah, blah. At least live, you just put it live out there and it's gone, right? Yeah, there's very little else that I can do. Yeah. No, it does not change the DNA, but mRNA is messenger to carry coded information. That is the way HIV operates. Once it, please, Mr. Moshe, do not, I ask you to read the book. If you're not interested, my post was trying to be objective. Anyone can read it. Sorry, what are you saying? I don't understand. You're saying that HIV is what? The DNA, but it does not change the DNA, but the mRNA. And so what does that go to do with what we are talking about? This is a very new technology that is helping our people. May God bless our scientists. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.